this is now our final session of the day program, and I am really looking forward to it because we want to use this last half hour of our 10th anniversary event to just sit back and reflect a little bit on the last decade of SETTech festivals. And I am so happy to be joined for this session first by 𝗕𝗲𝘆ście. I shared already earlier with you, she hosted our first panel, that she's in charge of this whole topic, innovation and startups at dana, and it's great to have you here. Let's give her a big round of applause, please. Come and join me over here, Pia. Yeah, come and join. Let's make it cozy. Great. So how's the day been for you? How's this 10th edition of our SETTech Festival been for you?
Really great. It's been, at the same time, really very inspiring again, like every single tech festival. And I always walk away from tech festivals so refreshed with so many ideas. At the same time, also a little walk down memory lane because by now I know so many people, and it's really great to see that we have so many people who've been with us for years, some from the very first year actually. And so, yeah, a mixture of like boost of energy, inspiration, and walking down memory lane.
I didn't ask into the crowd if there's anybody around who's not from the team and has been here for all 10 editions. Maybe they should, if there is somebody out there, come and find us. We'll think of a special something for you. But I'm guessing this is like a mix of a class reunion and people you see a lot. And then, of course, new people, new faces, new energy coming in every year with the finalists and the different startups presenting here.
Absolutely, and this is also the feedback that we've been getting from a lot of people saying that they really enjoy that mix of kind of like the crowd that they know feeling like a reunion, but at the same time always having like this fresh new ideas and people coming in and having that really nice balanced mix of kind of like old and new almost.
Yeah, I mean, we've had such a great day here on stage, on the main stage. But I've also really noticed what a great time people have been having out there. You know, all the networking, it always works so well. There's such a great energy out there, and all the people taking photos in front of our nice photo wall, really celebrating this festival, which is just so great to see. So we brought a couple of photos to share just for like reminiscing and looking back a little bit of how things began. Do you want to share a little bit with us what we're seeing?
Yes, actually that is the jury meeting, which we used to have for a very long time at Soho House, and that was my first jury meeting when because I joined the SET team. I've been around the tech festival from a different side, because I was with a different dana team for the first 2 years. I've always been around, but not as part of the SET team, and that was the first year. That was the third round of the SET Award and Tech Festival, and that was my first year as being part of the team. So. It was, yeah.
Yeah, the jury has such a hard job every year, and they usually meet a day before the festival to really have time to see the startups pitch for them before they pitch for us.
Exactly.
And then the decision is made.
Exactly. And then, and then that was the next day, the Tech Festival, actually. And, you know, it's nice because 𝗕𝗲 is still here. All of you have probably seen 𝗕𝗲 today. René is still here. So they've really been there from the start. Alex, you just saw on stage. So, Lawrence is now working for a different company, but is always has been a very strong part of the team in the beginning as well.
And I mean, René and 𝗕𝗲 are really always behind the scenes and so busy making sure this whole show is running during the event. Maybe this is a good time to give them a shout out and a hand.
Absolutely.
Let's please give a big round of applause to the incredible dana team making all this happen. So, I mean, today, well, let's have a look a little bit more of the pictures. I'll be skipping through them, but
yes. So yeah, that was the photo of the SET Award winners. I think that would have been also 2019. Yeah, it would have been 2019 because 1 year later, COVID hit.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, it really like we've been through a lot actually. Also looking at, you know, that photo of 𝗕𝗲, René, Alex, Lawrence, and myself was like we were the SET team in the very beginning, and now we've grown quite a bit, and we've been through a lot, and it's really cool to see how we went from being just a handful of people to have grown to, like quite substantially actually, and with us, like the festival, the award, everything has grown. Has also, it's always been fun and professional, but it gets smoother, and you learn a lot, and we've been able to just continuously improve the award and the tech festival.
And I mean, in a way, it's kind of like symbolic for how the whole sector has grown in this time.
I mean, this is exactly, so if you look, the first one was Taha, René, Alex, Lawrence and myself, and then this was last year, the team behind. I mean, some of
we don't usually color code our outfits, like specifically. This just worked out magically somehow.
That's true. This is also why I'm wearing something different today.
You look great.
But no, so yeah, so. Not all of these people are working purely on a sector-level innovation platform, but on startup and innovation topics at DINA. So, but for the Tech Festival and the SET Awards, we all come together, and every single person is actually helping and making sure that everything runs smoothly and goes well, and that the startups and our partners and everyone has a really great experience here.
Yeah. So, I mean, 10 years of celebrating startups and renewables, is this like the sector has grown, the team has grown? Do you kind of ever feel like, okay, we're done here, like we've established this?
I hope I never feel like that. And I think today has actually shown that we've grown and we've come quite a far way, but there's still so much to do, and the world keeps changing, the world keeps evolving. Also, the startups have grown with us. For example, this year's SET Award is the first time that more than half of the applications that we received were from startups in TRL 7 to 9.
Wow.
Whereas before that, we always had startups in a bit earlier phases. So, and it's really great to see that the SET Award is not just being used or seen by early phase startups as, obviously, it's really important for them to get the recognition and visibility and everything, but that also later stage startups are seeing the benefits of being part of something like the SET Awards and getting that recognition, accessing that network, making sure that their innovation is still seen by as many people as possible and gets them connected to the right stakeholders to really get into that scaling and implementation phase, so that it's really become something from early for early phase startups that need that first bit of that recognition, the visibility, making sure that they're seen, to later stage startups where it's really then about scaling and finding the right partners for that next step in their journey.
Yeah, that's a super interesting development. Thank you very much for sharing that. I'll be sharing that at the award ceremony as well. That, you know, I was reading, of course, on the SET website that many of the startups have like a customer base, are making over 250K turnover already, past the MVP stage. So exactly what you were saying, this technology readiness level advanced, and it's great to hear that this is a stage also for startups on that level, really, you know, really achieving impact on a global scale, which is what this is all about. Yeah. So we have some other people we want to bring on stage to join our reflection session, which I'd love to do now. So let's welcome on stage Patrick Riedel, the Managing Director of 𝗕𝗿𝘆𝘀, who is the SET winner of 2025, and Leo Anderson Naveda, who's the Technical Sales Manager at 𝗏𝗏𝘀, and they were part of SET Festival 2022. Give them a big round of applause, please.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, welcome.
Lovely to have you both here. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us. We want to invite you for a reflection on the past years of SET, and of course, as former finalists and participants in the SET Tech Festival, I want to hear from you how this experience has changed your guys' companies and trajectories. But first, to get to know a little bit more, like this is not the 4-minute or 5-minute pitch time, but maybe just like a tiny elevator pitch. Please share with us, the audience who maybe isn't familiar yet, what your companies are all about.
So, yeah, hi everyone, my name is Patrick, and I'm responsible for the business development of 𝗕𝗏𝘀. And 𝗕𝗏𝘀 is a battery company, so we are developing battery cells and battery packs. with the focus on fast charging and high cycle life.
Fantastic, please.
Thank you. My name is Leo Andersson. I'm a technical sales manager at 𝗕𝗲𝘀𝘁, a company from Gothenburg in Sweden, where we build wind turbine towers out of wood. And it's not the small ones that you can find in homes, it's the full industrial ones.
Thank you very much. I mean, like, as we heard today, so much the importance of these topic areas in the bigger picture. I think we also have a little bit of material to share from your last year's participation. So let's bring up those pictures. Patrick, I think of you first. And oops, sorry, I skipped one too quickly. I think of last year's. Thank you for fixing that. Let's come on in a minute, but you were with us last year in the jury meeting as well as the festival award. Do you want to share a little bit what impressions 𝗕𝗃 left for you?
Yeah, sure. So here in the picture you can see my colleague Annie, who can't join us today. So she did a fantastic job and pitched our company, and I was aside and listened to her and briefed her up front. And it was a fantastic feeling to pitch our company to all of the jury members and to get, of course, also feedback on the pitch itself, but also on the business model. And we had fantastic discussions afterwards. And yeah, so this helped us to form the company and focused our business model for growth in the future.
Do you, like Pia just shared a little bit on the stage, of technology readiness that the companies are joining us for. Do you have any, like, maybe sharing some thoughts on that? Where were you at when you were pitching at the festival?
So from a TRL level, we were about, TRL 7, let's say. And one of our successes from last year is that we reached TRL 9 and went into serial production. And that's a huge step forward for us. And we have also the first customer contracts in place, which are tied to the serial production. And therefore, we made a huge step ahead in our company growth phase.
That is fantastic to hear. Congratulations. Maybe a quick round of applause for that. And here's you guys taking away the prize. Now, you already foreshadowed a little bit what this changed for you and like the trajectory that you're on now. Do you have any advice for like future finalists to come and 𝗕𝗃 festivals?
So don't be scared because here are a lot of very interesting and nice people, and they can just help you. So come here and talk to all of the people and have fun. And just do it.
Fantastic, thank you. Leo, you weren't with us in person at the 𝗕𝗃 22, but your team was. And what was that like hearing back from the festival? Was there any what was the sharing like and the impressions that your team came home with?
Well, this was some time ago. I think it was 2022. That's my colleague Per, very good at pitching. But it was for sure the week's highlight when he came back successful from Germany. And we still have the trophy we got. So it was still cheered in the whole office, and we still look back at that time.
So I'd like to learn from you as well, like where were you guys at when you joined the festival, and maybe also what your motivation was back then to compete at 𝗕𝗃?
Right, so this was a long time ago. We are taking much smaller steps than Patrick is. Back then, I guess we were at TRL 5. It's also a bit depending on what industry you are using the TRL scale. But in wind, that was definitely a 5. So we were just getting the last financing needed in order to raise our first demonstrator at 105 meters tall, so a turbine. And that has changed a lot ever since. It has given us a lot of momentum that we are now exploiting. And now we are still not at 9, not in serial production, but I would say 7.
Fantastic. And what else do you think was like a takeaway from the awards? Maybe your colleague shared a little bit. To be part of this like sort of global, let's say family of 100 startups, this cohort, were there other connections or other things that you took away?
Yeah, for sure. Especially it was really good, the visibility that we got there. I can't say myself that I have contacts from the relationships that Per built back then. But I do remember that he was very well connected within the wind industry. You meet a lot of people that are trying to accomplish just the same thing that you are doing, or we are all trying to do. So I think he came back very happy with the relationships that he built.
So let's, of course, sharing some more pictures also of your colleagues with the award here.
I think just one thing, it's really interesting to hear that you say, because we've heard that from quite a few startups, and this is also something that I think makes the 𝗕𝗏 work quite special, is that we have startups that also back in 2019, for example, or 2018 pitched in front of the jury, and they are still in touch with some of the jury members, or they got some jury members to become part of their board, and it's like really that really long-standing, fruitful connection that they make, and it's really great to see that even at other events you bump into the startup and they like, yeah, great to see you, and by the way, we're still in touch from this and that with this and that person from the jury, and they have helped us so much since then. So it's really great to hear.
Yeah, that is really cool to hear. Let's zoom out a little bit maybe, in the sense that, of course, this is a reflection on a decade of celebrating startups in the renewable energy sector. Maybe, first of all, the two of you, and then circling back around to you, Pia. When you look at this space and what role your companies also play in this space, what do you think maybe differentiates your innovations from others, and also perhaps looking at the impact that's been achieved? Like, where do you feel you are now, and what do you hope is gonna be the next chapter?
Yeah, so maybe looking at the battery technology that we are developing, we are focusing on fast charging and cycle life, so high cycle life. And this is something which is not so common in the industry at the moment, because everyone is likely to have a electric car which can drive 1,000 kilometers with one charge. And therefore, all the battery technologies are focusing on energy density, but we are focusing on power density, and this gives us the possibility to decrease the size of the battery, because we can just charge it in a few minutes. So 2 years ago, we have presented our demonstrator EV, and we charged a battery pack with 35 kilowatt hours just in less than 5 minutes. So this was a range of 250 kilometers. So it's just one fourth of the 1,000 kilometer range. But you don't need half an hour until it's full again. And this gives us the possibility to decrease the size of the battery within vehicles, and therefore we achieve more space savings, weight savings, which in the end also enables less consumption. So you decrease the end user's costs. You need less raw materials, which is good for the environment, and that's fully enough to achieve such a shorter distance, and that's an advantage which we have against our competitors in the battery market.
Leo?
From our side, everyone tries to decarbonize the energy supply, but we're also trying to do that by decarbonizing the raw materials that are used, because concrete and the steel, which are the most well-used components for towers in the wind industry, these components globally contribute to 15% of the global CO2 emissions. So this is something that it's also easy to forget, because people may say, we're already using wind, that's already green enough. But we're trying to put the seed into offsetting these materials that are really heavy polluting. Another big differentiation, I would say, is that many startups here have seen a problem that will come in a couple of years now. In our case, it's a bit more that we are solving a problem that is already here and has been here for quite a while, which is the demand for tall towers in the wind industry, which you want to build higher and higher to get more energy harvest and more constant energy.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's all. So it's such a, like I was saying earlier, hard choice between all the startups, but then you need that cutting edge to make the decision about who's going to win. Pia, maybe also zooming out a little bit for you, SetTech is, of course, one thing that 𝗕𝗏 does, but you work all year round with startups in the renewable energy sector and innovation. Like, what are the other ways that Dana and your work like let us into your day job a little bit is supporting startups in the sector.
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying that one of the reasons why I've been with Dina for such a long time is because no day is like the other. But no, we do have several ways of working with startups. So 𝗕𝗏𝘆će Tech Festival is one of it, and everything that brings with it, then like the network and the matchmaking and the visibility. But we also have projects where we connect ecosystems across energy partnerships, for example, and work with different startup ecosystems around the world. But we also have national projects where we help startups navigate and understand the very complex energy regulatory framework, and have mentoring, coaching offers for them, and do events with them and for them, pilot projects. So it's really a whole range of different offers that we have and at the same time, but also always like feed that back and are in touch with the ministry to let them know where are ways where startups need more support, where do we see potential to maybe look at certain regulation to make sure that innovation that's out there and that can really drive the energy transition forward needs to change in order for that innovation to really be able to unfold in its complete potential. So yeah, have that also be that bridge between the policy side and the innovation side.
Yeah, maybe just in the last minutes, like I don't want to make the last questions too big, but top heavy, let's say. But you know, I've also been reflecting throughout the day. We had these two really incredible opening keynotes today, Patrizia Castanello and 𝗕𝗏𝘆će, that really also pointed out, you know, the political aspects and the times that we're going through. And like last year in our opening panel, we had some gentlemen here working on the state level in the United States on renewable energies, and they were really drilling home the message, like, we've all come too far. We've gained too much ground and we've achieved too much, and this is not going away. And at the same time, of course, there's a lot of pushback at the moment, and we need to really like stand for this ground. So maybe like looking forward, and with the work that you're doing here, like, yeah, like I said, I don't want to make it too heavy, but like your reflection on the last decade and how we can make sure that this momentum that you've all created here through the festival, through your work, and all the startups that have been part of this, how do we make sure we stay on this trajectory and become even stronger?
Well, I think, like it's been said throughout the day today as well, it's like we're not going to get away from this path. We are on a very clear path, and the more startups we have and the more they grow, the bigger, the stronger they get, the more we know that we can stay on that trajectory. And there might be some setbacks at some times, and you know, nothing is just like a straight line. But in general, what we've seen over the last 10 years is just a trajectory that is that is unstoppable, basically. And with the maturity of startups, with the maturity of new technology and innovation, it's here to stay. To put it lightly.
I think that's a mic drop moment to end the session on. Here to stay, back for more. Let's have a big round of applause, please, for Pia, Patrick, and Leo.